Hello students, welcome to StudyIQ. In this session, we are going to continue with the discussion on sociology. So we have discussed almost complete paper 1. So our discussion is almost over. So we are in the concluding phase of our discussion. So here what I'm doing is I'm taking up a few questions, especially the 10 markers. So I'll take around 10 markers and then I will move on to the long questions so that I can give you complete idea about the way you need to present this 10 markers and the 20 markers. So if you remember in the previous discussions, I have already told you the importance of 10 markers. Okay. Now before that, if you're watching the video for the first time, please consider subscribing the channel and let's get started with the video. So actually many times I've told you the importance of 10 markers. So there will be 13 10 markers in your paper. Okay, so from part A there will be 5, part B there will be 5, and from the 3 the available options, then from that also you will be getting 3 10 markers. So 13 10 markers, and it is expected that minimum 70% you should be scoring from this if you are aiming beyond 320. Okay, so 70% means you should be getting around 91 mark from here minimum, and you can get up to 80% also. It is very easy to score the 10 markers. 10 markers are actually jackpot, so you should be scoring up to 80%, and that should be a strategy. So if it is 80%, you can go up to 104. Okay, and I know most of the students are actually targeting 150 160 range. So if you can get 80%, then rest of the 120 marks, so here you can spend around 100 minutes, and here you need to spend around 80 minutes. So you can manage it very easily, right? So this should be a better strategy if you can go with 10 markers in the beginning. Many people will tell you to go with the 20 markers, complete the long questions, but it is very difficult to fetch the marks. And for that 120 marks, you will be spending, I'm sure you'll be spending more than 100 minutes. And the mark that you're going to get for that 120 mark is going to be 60% or 50%. Beyond that, it is very difficult to get marks in 20 marker. You need that much content to impress the examiner. But 10 marker, even if you have very limited content, you can impress the examiner. I'm going to show that. Okay, so this more than 100 minutes you're spending, and you will be getting 50% for that 120. That means around 60 markers what you're getting by spending more than 100 minutes, and rest of the 80 minutes is what you're actually going to spend for this 13 10 markers. You may be thinking that 18 minutes is enough, 10 markers not that significant. But if you are thinking in the reverse way, I attend the 13 questions first, the 10 markers, I spend 100 minutes there, and then you can get this 104, up to 104 you can get. Okay, so you compare this, what the difference that you're making. At least 91 you should be able to make. 30 mark means 500 ranks in UPSC. So don't forget that. Okay, so I've already discussed the strategy, and I have also tried to attempt this in any test series that you're going to take. Whatever it is, from whomever you're taking the test series, any institute or any of your mentors, from anywhere you're taking the test series, you try this method. And if you wish to take test series with me, you can get in touch with me. I've given you my number. This is my number, 9790-892-697. For sociology classes or test series or personal mentorship program or answer writing program, you can get in touch with me. Apart from that, if you have missed out my videos that we have done so far on sociology, whatever important topics are there, we have covered that in the free classes in the YouTube channel itself. So you can get that in the Zia Safir Telegram channel. So this is my Telegram channel. This is my Instagram ID also. So if you have any general doubts or anything, you can get in touch with me in the Instagram ID. If you need the videos, you can get that in the Telegram channel. All the videos which are uploaded in YouTube will be available in the Telegram channel, not all. Okay, so whatever is uploaded in the YouTube channel, it will be available. So if you need to write a test or anything, any formal programs, you can call me or you can message me in WhatsApp or Telegram in this number. So let's get started with this particular session. So here in this session, I'm going to talk about a particular question, 10 marker, that is sacred and profane. Okay, so sacred and profane. You might have seen this question many times, repeatedly asked. So what you need to do, you need to give importance to 10 markers, as I've already told you. So you will be talking about sacred and profane in your first 100 minutes. So what all things you will write here? You will start with who gave the concept, right? So Emile Durkheim gave the concept of sacred and profane in his theory of religion. So before that, if you want one line, you can say Emile Durkheim, who's the founding, who's considered as father of modern sociology, gave the concept of sacred and profane in his theory of religion. So that will be a better introduction. So one line introduction is enough. In that, you're talking about Emile Durkheim, okay, you're talking about theory of religion, you're talking about father of modern sociology, and everything is actually covered. The theory also is covered, okay. So then you can say, maybe here you can go for the definition of the theory of religion, or even before that, even before you go with the definition of the theory of religion, you need to say that religion is a social fact, okay. Because if you remember from the very second day onwards, from the discussion on social fact, we are talking about, from the discussion on scope of sociology, we are talking about social facts. When it comes to Emile Durkheim, the scope of sociology is actually the study of social facts. So you study social facts, treat the social facts as things, because sociology is considered to be a scientific discipline. So if you can consider the social facts as things, then you can conduct the investigation in a most objective way. So understand here, you have to briefly talk about social fact. Any question from Durkheim that you're writing, everything, religion is a social fact, division of labor is a social fact, family is a social fact, marriage is a social fact, suicide is a social fact. So every social institutions which are present is a social fact according to Emile Durkheim, and it has to be seen as things, okay. So social facts comes into existence with the autonomous development of society, and it is having its own life, it is having externality, individuality, and having a constraining influence over the individual. So in one line you can say religion as a social fact which comes into existence in its own with the autonomous development of society. So two lines are over. These two lines are superb lines, and enough content is there as part of the introduction. So first we said the concept of sacred and profane is actually given by Emile Durkheim, okay, and you can say in his theory of religion, who's considered as the father of modern sociology. So you can say theory of religion, the religion is considered as a social fact by Emile Durkheim, and it is having its own existence. It came into existence its own, that means it is sui generis, okay. So in your language you need to write, but I'm saying the body, what should be there is what I'm saying, and then you can briefly talk about what is religion. So you can go for the definition of religion that we have already discussed when we discussed about theory of religion. So the first part is what you need to discuss, because any Durkheim's theory, if you take, there will be four different parts. First, he defined the phenomena. So theory of religion, you can see the definition. Then he will explain the cause. Then he will explain the function. So his approach is a causal functional approach. Why it is causal functional approach? Why he is separating cause and function? To avoid illegitimate teleologies. Okay, so we have discussed that n number of times. What is illegitimate teleology? How can you avoid illegitimate teleology? And how in Parsons' discussion we talked about illegitimate teleology and illegitimate tautology, and how Merton introduced new concepts. Everything I am expecting that you might have studied. Okay, so I'm not getting into that detail. So you can write that also. His approach is a causal functional approach is considered to be good for or important in with respect to illegitimate teleologies. So at this point or towards the end in the relevance part you can write that. So here what you can do is what I'm saying is the definition you need to write, but not the complete definition, because the first part of the definition is talking about the religion or the composition of religion, which includes sacred also, and the question which is asked is about sacred, okay. And then the second part of the definition is about the function of religion. I've told you there is two aspects, function and cause. He separate cause and function, and in the definition itself we can see that first part of the definition, that is religion is a system of beliefs and practices related to sacred things, okay. That is to say things set apart and forbidden. That means here itself we have explained what is sacred, right? So religion is a set of beliefs and practices related to sacred things. So related to sacred things, that is to say things set apart and forbidden. That means sacred things are what? The things which are set apart and forbidden. So from the definition you got it, and you remember first part, religion is the system of beliefs and practices related to sacred things. So sacred is related with what? Beliefs and practices. So you need to explain belief, what you mean by belief. You need to explain what you mean by practices. Okay, so beliefs means the ideas that we carry in the minds with respect to the sacred. Okay, with respect to God or with respect to religion, we carry certain ideas, right? That is what you mean by the beliefs. For Hinduism, there are certain beliefs. For Christianity, there are certain beliefs. For Islam, there are certain beliefs. Okay, so these are the ideas that we carry with respect to sacred. Apart from that, what is practices? So religion is a set of beliefs and practices related to sacred things. So we have already talked about beliefs. Now we need to say what is practices. Practices, if you see, these are nothing but the rites and rituals that we perform while interacting with the sacred. So beliefs are the ideas related to the sacred. Practices means the rites or the rituals that you do when you interact with the sacred. It could be positive rites, it could be negative rites. Positive rites example means, when you're worshipping, when you're praying to the God, actually the distance between you and God is reducing. It is said that you're actually talking to God and you're explaining your problems to the God, right, when you're worshipping. So this is a positive rite which is performed. So the rites and rituals can be positive as well as negative. Negative means that reinforce the distance between you and sacred, God and you. God means sacred, okay, in this context. So positive rites reduce the distance between you and God. The negative rites increase the distance between you and sacred. For example, fasting, okay, fasting or sacrifices. So these will actually help to reinforce the distance between the sacred and the person. But on the other hand, worshipping, it is a positive rite. Why? Because it reduces the distance. Fasting, etc., negative rite, it will increase the distance. So I've done with sacred now. So what I've done, when you're writing the answer, you have to talk about introduction. That should be there in single line. So you can say what all things I have told you. Durkheim introduced this concept of sacred and profane in his theory of religion. He is considered as the father of modern sociology. That's enough. And then you can say religion is a social fact which comes into existence on its own with the autonomous development of society. So you have talked about social fact. That means the scope of sociology according to Durkheim. You have talked about the modern father of the father of modern sociology. So his subject matter and the theory name also you've discussed, and you talked about religion also. Now come to religion and explain the definition of religion. Religion is a system of beliefs and practices, okay, related to sacred things, that is to say things set apart and forbidden. That's enough. So we are here talking about the definition of religion, only the first part. If you need, you can write completely. There is no objection. I'll give you the complete definition also. But second part is not relevant in this context, and you will be wasting your time and space by writing that. Okay, so we will write whatever is required to the exam. Our objective is to score marks, right? 300, 320, and I can guarantee you, if you attend these classes, you will never see this level of discussion anywhere in sociology. That is for sure. Once you attend the classes, your concepts are going to be super clear, and once you take the test series, then things are done automatically and you're going to score. If you're writing mains, you can score it. Okay, it's again it's all about writing mains. You have to write mains for that. So if you're writing mains, you will be scoring 300 plus, 320 plus, okay, if you can attend the complete classes and the test series. Okay, so here I hope you understood. So this is how you need to write, and then you talk about what is sacred, and then you can say this is things set apart and forbidden, which is considered as fetishes by people. People try to maintain a sense of distance because it is considered as forbidden. It is considered as having some supernatural force. So sacred are those things which is set apart and forbidden. It is there in the definition itself. It is considered as having a supernatural force. So people considers religion as fetishes, like fetishism of commodities. I hope you remember that we discussed under marks. So that word, I'm expecting that you will never forget that word, fetishism. Okay, so same was the case here. You treat religion or the sacred as fetishes. You try to maintain a distance, and then you can say beliefs and practices which are related to sacred. You can explain what you mean by belief, what you mean by practices. Now, what do you mean by profane? Profane is everything except supernatural. For example, when you go to a temple, the idol that you see over there in the temple, that is sacred. But apart from that, the other things which you can see in the temple, like you will see the tap in which you will wash your hands and legs, etc. These are profane. So both are mutually exclusive. One cannot be a member of both at the same time. So everything other than sacred is actually profane. So I hope you understood what you mean by sacred, what you mean by profane. So let's move on to the discussion with respect to the PDF, so that it will be crystal clear for you. Okay, and still if you're not able to understand, then nobody can help you. So theory of religion. So you don't want to write it completely. This is I've taken from the theory of religion, but I've told you what to write in the intro. Okay, so I will actually interested in start with the definitional part only. So you can say here, this point you can add religion is a social fact which comes into existence its own, and it exists apart from individual. So religion exists apart from individual, family exists apart from individual. All those social facts are considered external and exist outside the individual. Okay, so the book name also you need to write. This is found in the book. This theory is contained in the book Elementary Forms of Religious Life. So from the first paragraph, this is what these 3 lines, these 3 points is what you need to take for this particular answer. Apart from writing about Emile Durkheim in the first line. Okay, write about Emile Durkheim in the first line. Second line, you talk about social fact. Why you need to talk about social fact? Any question related to Durkheim, you need to talk about social fact, because he gave the distinctive sociological understanding, okay, and he explained the scope of sociology for the first time as study of social fact. Okay, so you can see here definition of religion. Only the first part is enough that I have told you, but you can see the complete definition. A religion is a unified system of beliefs and practices related to sacred things. So the question, that point have already came here in the definition. That is to say, things set apart and forbidden. Beliefs and practices. Now, this part is the function. So this is a compositional aspect, and that is what important for us in this particular question. But if the question is about theory of religion, you need to write completely. So here the functional part, the beliefs and practices unite them into a single moral community called a church, all those who adhere to them. So those people who follow the same sets of beliefs and practices will be united under a single moral community. That is the religion. Here it is written as church. Church means religion. Okay. Thus, his conception of religion is based on 2 parts, compositional aspect and the functional aspect that we have already discussed. So in the first part, religion is a unified system of beliefs related to sacred things. Okay. Then, sacred things are those which are set apart and considered forbidden by the individual. Sacred things are all things connected with supernatural. So sacred things are set apart and forbidden, that you can find from here. You can see here forbidden, set apart. And these are having supernatural force. They are considered as fetishes by people. People maintain a sense of distance with the sacred things. Durkheim also discusses the importance of beliefs and practices in the construction of sacred. Beliefs are the system of ideas which explain sacred. Okay, the ideas which explain sacred. These are in the form of myths or other spiritual ideas. Practices are the rites and rituals which explain the way an individual behave with sacred. Okay, these are in the nature of system of rites which must be observed while interacting with the sacred. There are 2 types of such rites, positive rites and negative rites. Positive rites are those which help in the reduction or reducing the distance between individual and the sacred. For example, worshipping. On the other hand, negative rites helps in reinforcing or maintaining the distance between individual and sacred. So I hope you understood what you mean by sacred. Sacreds are those things which are kept apart and considered forbidden. Okay, they are having supernatural force. Okay, and they are considered as fetishes by the people. So that's about sacred. And sacred, how you define on the basis of certain beliefs and practices. Religion is a unified system of beliefs and practices related to sacred. That means with respect to sacred, there are certain beliefs and practices. Explain that. Beliefs means the ideas that you carry in your mind related to the sacred. It could be myths or it could be some spiritual ideas. Okay, practices, it could be positive or negative. These are in terms of rites and rituals that you perform while interacting with the god. It can be positive, it can be negative. Positive example, worshipping. It reduces the distance between you and the sacred. On the other hand, negative rites help in reinforcing the distance. Here reducing the distance, here reinforcing the distance. For example, fasting and sacrifices. Okay, now the conception of, this is very important, this line, the conception of sacred forms the basis of Durkheim's view about society. So this can also be a question, okay, it can be a short note, Durkheim's view about society. So you need to write about what? His concept of society is based on sacred and profane. So there will be some supernatural force, and everything other than supernatural force are part of profane. So this is his conception about society. So can you compare it with Marxian conception of society? Marxian conception of society is FOP, forces of production, relation of production. So this is the economic infrastructure. So this is your economic infrastructure. Apart from that, there are various other elements like education, family, culture, religion, all these are the superstructure. So this together, economic infrastructure and superstructure, forms the society. So conception of society according to Durkheim and Marx can also be asked as a question. So I'm expecting that you understood it here. Even before that also, when we discussed about the theory of religion, I've explained it in detail. When we discussed about Marx also, I've covered it extensively over there. So no, there is no point in getting into that. We are sticking to that particular question. So in the question answer series, I am not interested in connecting all those things. I will just refer it, because either we might have already referred it in some of the discussions, okay, and it is already there in the free videos which are available in YouTube. Most of the thinkers, most of the important parts anyway is available. So according to him, society is divided into two parts or two worlds, that is sacred and profane. Sacred are things related to supernatural. Profane include everything apart from sacred. Okay, so everything apart from sacred. These two worlds are mutually exclusive. A person or object cannot be a member of both at the same time. One world has to be relinquished to enter into the other. So that's about sacred and profane. So if you are writing like this, I am sure that you will be able to score 8 marks for this particular answer. See, the difference between you and others will be this: everybody can score 6 mark in this. 5 to 6 mark everybody can score. 50 to 60% everybody can score, because you are anyway clearing prelims. That means you are going to prepare it seriously. So those people who are preparing seriously sociology, they will be definitely knowing the sacred and profane. They may not know the exact concept, but still they would have mugged it up. Okay, but that is not the case of you. If you have attended the session, you know the complete conceptual clarity of all the thinkers. So that is the level of discussions that we have already done. So I am expecting that you have that confidence, because that is my strong area. The thinkers are my strong area, and I am expecting once we complete thinkers, you will also be automatically strong in thinkers. Okay, so you can be very confident about that. So here you can fetch 8 mark, and this is how you make that difference. This 2 mark difference, everywhere you make 13 2 markers are there, 13 10 markers are there, so 26 mark difference you can make. 26 marks means around 400 ranks. Don't forget that. Okay, so I hope you understood. So I'm going to stop here. Let's wind up this discussion. If you have any doubt, you can get in touch with me. So this is my Instagram ID. My name is Safir. This is my Instagram ID. This is Zia Safir, and join the Telegram channel. You will not only get history, the sociology, history is there, economy is there, quantitative aptitude is there, ethics is there, post-independence is there. Almost all the videos are there related to civil services. So if you are serious into this, you will get very good quality videos with super content. Okay, that I can guarantee you. And if you need to write any test series or complete regular classes, you can write, you can text to me, you can WhatsApp or Telegram, or you can call also in this number. So only for any formal program. Okay, 9790-892-697. Any general things, you will get everything in the Telegram channel, the videos and everything. So see you guys. Thank you.